Picture this. Your kid throws a massive tantrum in the grocery store, full meltdown, tears, the works. And instead of losing it yourself, your child takes one deep breath, looks at you, and says, "I'm just really frustrated right now." Sound like a fantasy? Here's the shocking part. That exact moment is completely achievable, and it has nothing to do with reading a parenting book or enrolling in some expensive program. 7 tiny daily habits, things that take less than 5 minutes each, can build your child into someone with massive emotional intelligence. And the science behind this? It will completely change the way you parent forever. Stay with me. Section 1. What emotional intelligence really means, and why school won't teach it. Let me ask you something. When you think about what you want for your child's future, like really want, is it straight A's? A prestigious college? Or is it a kid who grows into an adult who can handle pressure, build real relationships, and bounce back when life gets hard? Most parents would say the second one. But here's the problem. The entire school system is designed to train the first one. Emotional intelligence, or EQ, is the ability to recognize, understand, manage, and express emotions effectively. Think of it as the operating system your child's brain runs on. IQ determines processing speed. EQ determines whether the system crashes under pressure or runs smoothly. Researchers at Yale University studied over 5,000 children and found that kids with higher EQ scores had better academic performance, stronger friendships, and significantly lower rates of anxiety and depression, all before they turned 13. Here's what's wild. EQ is not fixed at birth. Unlike IQ, which stays relatively stable throughout life, emotional intelligence is almost entirely learned. That means the small things you do with your child every single day are either building it up or quietly eroding it. And the window? It's wide open right now. Children between ages 3 and 12 are in what neuroscientists call the sensitive period for emotional development. The brain is literally wiring itself based on repeated experiences. Here's the key takeaway. You don't need a psychology degree. You need 7 habits, and the first one is so simple, it almost feels too easy. But before we get there, let me ask you this. Have you ever accidentally shut down your child's emotions without realizing it? Because almost every parent has. And what I'm about to reveal in the next section might surprise you. Section 2. Habit 1. The emotion naming game, 3 minutes a day. Okay, so here's the first habit, and I promise it sounds simpler than it is. Every day, once, just once, when your child is feeling something strong, you pause and ask, "Can you name what you're feeling right now?" Not, "Stop crying," not, "Calm down," just, name it. This practice is called emotional labeling, and it is backed by some of the most compelling neuroscience in the last 2 decades. A 2007 UCLA study by Dr. Matthew Lieberman found that when people name their emotions, it literally reduces the activity in the amygdala, the brain's alarm system, by a measurable percentage. In plain English, naming the feeling calms the feeling down. For young kids, start with a simple feelings chart. Happy, sad, angry, scared, proud. As they grow, expand the vocabulary. Frustrated, overwhelmed, embarrassed, lonely. The more specific the word, the more control they gain over the experience. Here's a real-world example. A mother I read about in a child development study started doing this with her 4-year-old son, who was having daily meltdowns. Within 6 weeks of the emotion naming habit, the meltdowns dropped by more than half. Not because she punished him less, not because she gave in more, simply because he had the words to say, "I'm overstimulated," instead of screaming on the floor. Now, I'll be honest. The first few times you try this, your kid might look at you like you just asked them to explain quantum physics. That's okay. You're planting a seed. Quick tip. You can also model it yourself. "I'm feeling really stressed right now because of traffic." Showing your own emotional vocabulary is just as powerful as asking for theirs. But naming emotions is just the beginning. Because what happens after they name it? That's where the next habit completely changes the game. Section 3. Habit 2. The 5-minute evening check-in. Here's something most families skip without realizing the cost: a dedicated emotional download at the end of the day. I'm not talking about "how was school?" because let's be honest, that question gets you one of three answers: fine, good, or the legendary "I don't know." Every parent on earth has heard that conversation. It goes nowhere. The 5-minute evening check-in is different. It uses three specific questions. What was the best part of your day? What was the hardest part? How did you handle it? These questions are deceptively powerful. The first one primes the brain for positivity. The second one creates emotional safety. It tells your child it's okay to struggle. The third one builds something called emotional self-efficacy, the belief that they have the capacity to deal with hard things. A Harvard study on adult resilience traced back one of the strongest predictors of lifelong emotional health: children who had consistent, low-pressure conversations with a trusted adult about their daily emotional experiences. Just 5 minutes. Every night. That's it. Now, does every check-in have to be perfect? Absolutely not. Some nights your kid will be tired and monosyllabic. Some nights you will be. And that's fine. The ritual itself is the point. Consistency builds safety. Safety builds trust. Trust builds emotional intelligence. Pro tip: do it at the same time every night. Bedtime works best. Pair it with something your child already enjoys, like reading or a cup of warm milk. Anchor the habit to something that already exists. You're probably wondering, what about the days when your child refuses to talk? What do you do when the emotional check-in becomes a battle of wills? Don't worry, we're getting there. But first, let me show you a habit that works even when words fail. Section 4. Habit 3. Feelings. First, solutions second. Okay, real talk. This habit is the one that trips up even the most patient, well-intentioned parents. And I say that with zero judgment, because it tripped me up too. Here's the scene. Your child comes home crying because their best friend chose to sit with someone else at lunch. Your natural instinct, especially if you're a problem solver, is to immediately say, "Well, maybe you should make new friends." Or, "Just ignore them, it's not a big deal." Here's why that backfires. When you jump to solutions, your child hears one thing: your feelings aren't important enough to pause for. Feelings first, solutions second means you validate before you advise. You say, "That sounds really painful. I'd feel hurt too." You sit in that discomfort with them for 60 seconds before offering a single suggestion. This is called empathic validation, and psychologist John Gottman's research with over 3,000 families showed that children of parents who practiced emotional coaching, validation first, had measurably higher EQ, better immune function, and fewer behavioral problems than children whose parents minimized or dismissed their emotions. 60 seconds. That's all it takes to shift from dismissing to connecting. Here's the funny part. Most adults are terrible at this too. We've been trained since childhood to fix things as fast as possible. So when you start practicing feelings first, don't be shocked if you also feel weirdly uncomfortable just sitting with an emotion. Welcome to the club. It gets easier. The rule: validate for at least 60 seconds before offering any solution. Set a mental timer if you have to. And once you've mastered this, the next habit builds directly on it. And it's the one that teaches children what to actually do with the big feelings after they've been named and heard. Quick favor before we keep going. If this content is giving you even one useful idea for your kid, hit that like button right now. It genuinely helps other parents find this video, and that's kind of the whole point of making it. Subscribe if you haven't yet, and tap the bell so you get notified when the next video drops. Because what's coming next week is something every parent needs to see. Okay, back to the habits. Section 5. Habit 4. The calm down corner. Not a punishment zone. Let's clear something up immediately. A calm down corner is not a timeout corner, renamed with a softer label. They are completely different things, and mixing them up is one of the most common mistakes parents make. A timeout is reactive and punitive. It sends the message, go away until you're acceptable again. A calm down corner is proactive and self-regulatory. It says, here is a safe space where you can learn to manage what's happening inside you. The setup matters. Stock it with sensory tools. A stress ball, a weighted blanket, a feelings chart, maybe some calming cards with breathing exercises. Make it cozy. Make it inviting. Your child should want to go there when they're overwhelmed, not dread it. Child psychologist Dr. Ross Green, who developed the collaborative problem-solving approach, found that children who have access to regulated environments during emotional escalation develop self-soothing skills significantly faster than children who are simply told to calm down without any tools or support. Here's the critical piece. Teach your child about the calm down corner when they are calm. Don't introduce it in the middle of a meltdown. That's like teaching someone to swim when they're already drowning. Practice going there together during peaceful moments. Let's try out our calm down corner. Make it fun. Let them help decorate it. Ownership creates buy-in. And here's what makes this habit stick. Pair it with a breathing technique. Even something as simple as smell the flowers, blow out the candles for little ones. 4 counts in, 4 counts hold, 4 counts out for older kids. Regulate the body first, and the mind follows. But here's the thing. All of this works even better when your child understands why their brain does what it does. And that brings us to one of the most powerful habits on this entire list. Section 6. Habit 5. Teach them about their brain. Yes, really. This might sound like too much for a 5-year-old, but I'm telling you, kids are ready for this. Dr. Dan Siegel, clinical professor of psychiatry at UCLA and co-author of The Whole Brain Child, developed something called the hand model of the brain. You make a fist with your hand. Your wrist and palm? That's the brainstem. Basic survival functions. Your thumb folded in? That's the limbic system, emotions. Your fingers folded over the thumb? That's the prefrontal cortex, thinking, planning, empathy. When your child gets overwhelmed, they flip their lid. Their fingers fly open. The thinking brain goes offline. The emotional brain takes over completely. When you teach kids this model, literally using their own hand as a visual, they start to understand their own behavior. Instead of thinking, I'm bad, they think, I flipped my lid. Instead of shame, they experience curiosity about how to bring the lid back down. This is a game changer, and you can introduce it to kids as young as 4 years old using age-appropriate language. Studies on emotional regulation in children consistently show that kids who have cognitive frameworks for understanding their emotions, even simple ones, develop self-regulation skills significantly faster than those who don't. Here's the humor in all of this. I showed the hand model to a 7-year-old neighbor once, and 2 days later, she walked up to her mom during an argument and said, "Mom, I think you just flipped your lid." The mom had no idea what to say. It was magnificent. Spend 5 minutes teaching this model during a calm, playful moment. Use the hand. Make it physical. Watch your child's eyes light up when they realize their brain has a name for what happens. But knowing about emotions and managing them is only half the battle. The next habit addresses the other half, and it's the one that most parents miss entirely. Section 7. Habit 6. Model imperfection. Out loud. Here's a question. When you make a mistake in front of your child, what do? If you're like most adults, you either brush past it, get frustrated with yourself, or quietly fix it without comment. And in doing so, completely unintentionally, you send your child a message that mistakes should be hidden. Modeling imperfection out loud means narrating your own emotional experience in real time, including when you get it wrong. I just snapped at you and I shouldn't have. I was stressed and I didn't manage it well. I'm sorry. I'm feeling really overwhelmed right now. I need 5 minutes to calm down before we talk about this. I made a mistake. Let me think about what I should have done differently. This does 3 extraordinary things simultaneously. First, it normalizes imperfection. Your child sees that even adults struggle with emotions. Second, it models repair, one of the most important relationship skills that exists. Third, it demonstrates self-compassion, the ability to acknowledge a mistake without drowning in shame. Brené Brown's research on vulnerability shows that children who see adults model emotional honesty and self-compassion develop significantly stronger emotional resilience. Your mess is literally your child's lesson. And honestly, the days you completely lose your patience and then repair it with your child, those might be the most valuable parenting moments of all. Not despite the mess, because of it. Daily practice. Once a day, name one emotion you're feeling out loud in front of your child. Just one. I'm feeling proud of myself for finishing that. Or, I'm feeling anxious about tomorrow. That's all it takes. One habit left. And this one. This is the one that ties everything together. Section 8, Habit 7. The empathy exercise, the one that changes everything. Every night, or as often as possible, ask your child one simple question. How do you think that person felt today? It could be about a character in the book you just read, a classmate they mentioned, a sibling, even a stranger they saw at the park. The point is to consistently direct your child's attention outward, toward the emotional experience of another person. This practice builds what psychologists call perspective taking, the foundational skill of empathy. And empathy is not just a nice social skill. It is the cornerstone of leadership, conflict resolution, deep friendship, and virtually every meaningful human connection. A 2015 study published in the journal Child Development followed children from kindergarten through young adulthood and found that those rated higher in social competence and empathy at age 5 were significantly more likely to have stable employment, healthy relationships, and positive mental health outcomes by age 25. One question, asked daily. For years, the compound interest on emotional intelligence is extraordinary. Here's what makes this habit especially powerful. It costs nothing. No equipment, no special setup, just a question embedded in moments you're already having. At dinner, in the car, at bedtime. Start simple. That dog we saw looked sad. Why do you think? Then grow the complexity as your child grows. Your friend seemed upset at the party. What do you think was going on for him? You're building a muscle, and like any muscle, it gets stronger every single time it's used. 7 habits, 7 tiny daily actions, $0 budget required. Massive results, backed by science, proven by research, and completely within your reach starting today. So let's bring it all together. 7 habits. Name the emotion. Check in each evening. Validate feelings before solving. Create a calm down space. Teach the brain model. Model your own imperfections. And practice daily empathy. None of these habits take more than 5 minutes. But practiced consistently, they build a child who can navigate the emotional complexity of life with skill, compassion, and resilience. Here's my question for you today. And I want your honest answer in the comments. Are you a Habit 1 parent who focuses on naming emotions, or a Habit 6 parent who leads by modeling imperfection? Which one resonates with you most? And what else do you want to know about raising emotionally intelligent kids? Drop it below. I read every single comment, and your questions literally shape future videos. If this helped you today, a like and subscribe means more than you know. It tells the algorithm this content is worth sharing with more parents. Hit the bell too, so you never miss what's coming next. Speaking of emotionally intelligent kids, next week I'm dropping a video that might genuinely surprise you. It's called 7 Signs Your Child is Emotionally Smarter Than You Think. And some of these signs are behaviors parents actually worry about. You won't want to miss it. Until then, you're already a great parent for watching this. Keep going.